Enough. That this is a spoiler-fied video, and well, it's made in 1982 of my favorite movie of all time, The Last American Virgin. Now this follows a guy who I'm quite big fan of. I've always missed this guy. Sorry if I can't think of his name, but he was Ted in Friday the 13th Part 4. He was Ben in Mask. He always had this like very Robbie Benson kind of style, and yeah, I've always been a fan of this guy, and it's a movie that it's about a guy who's a virgin, and the film itself grabs to you, and it's one of the most, and like what I said, it's my favorite movie of all time. It's one of those 80s movies that it's not just a teenage movie, it's one of those movies that is very could happen to anybody. That there's a movie like that was made like years later. It's kind of like that, but this movie is true. It's real. It's realistic. It shows that it's not just a fairy tale. It shows like, and this, I'm living this right now. This shows a lot of things that I went through, and he has a friend named Rick, which was Troy the jackass from the Goonies. And he has another buddy named David, and they're doing like things where like Rick is more like gets chicks and stuff, and he's more of the cool guy, popular, and then there's David, and the movie is like where they just they keep on banging chicks, and there's one part where people want to know where like American Pie comes, like how they got the idea for American Pie. It's one of those inspirations. He's having sex, and then his parents walk in, and that's a very funny scene. And then you have a fantastic soundtrack. You have you have the Cars, you have Journey, you have Quincy Jones and James Ingram, you have all sorts of great music. You have great acting. I don't want to know that girl's name because of what happened. It's pretty sad, but it shows you that it's like a life lesson, and that's what I always loved about this film and this flick. And it happens. It really happens. That's life. The ending is one of the most sourest, most saddest, most satisfying, most just depressing endings. And there were never really movies like that. There were movies that are always the happily ever after. This was one of the movies that wasn't happily ever after. And I tip my hat to Canon Films for doing that. So that was my review on The Last American Virgin. Again, my favorite film of all time. So thanks for watching my review. Please, no trolls, and see you soon.